What is up to the people of YouTube? I am sitting here and not skating for another video, which I'm sure you guys are kind of bummed about, but so am I, and let me explain. In my video yesterday, I talked about how I thought I had sciatica, some sort of like back pinched nerve or something, and I went to urgent care this morning because it was so bad. I like couldn't walk, couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do anything. I had to like fall out of bed, which hurt super bad obviously, and I was like, you know what, I have to go to urgent care. So I went to urgent care and they said that I did have a pinched nerve, although I don't know what it was from, and they prescribed me some painkillers. That's what I've been taking.
Popping pills is all we know. Inhales is all we know.
No, but seriously, they were just like pretty much like Advil on steroids, just like a muscle relaxant, because what happens is like my muscle got too tight and was pinching a nerve in my spine and it hurts really bad, but they're like mild muscle relaxants helped a lot, and now I am filming this. Also, the doctor said that I should be totally fine within the next week if it is the pinched nerve that she thinks it is. If not, then I won't be feeling better, but if it is, then I will be feeling better within the next like 3 or 4 days, so hopefully that's what it is. Anyway, because I actually wanted to have some skateboarding on my channel because it's been a while, I am going to sort of go over my top 8 sort of just most memorable moments in my life on skateboarding. First clip is just backside 5-0 down clip. I'll just play it really quick. The reason I put this in the list is because A, Clipper is just a pretty legendary spot, or it was. It got torn down, which is another reason it's on this, because I got to skate it. It was just one of those spots that like you go to and then you're like, oh my god, how has anyone done anything down this? It was like terrifying. It was so gnarly. It was tall, it was round, like it wasn't just like a 90-degree ledge, it was like a rounded ledge that's just been super grinded up from like bikers, and it was crusty. Number 2 is actually a line, and it's a line that I filmed in San Francisco, California. I was filming with the Barracks for the Battle for America like B-roll footage, which is pretty much just like when they were talking about me, this was the clips that they played, and it was just, the reason I put this in here is because it was an awesome experience filming with the Barracks guys, and it's something super memorable that I don't think I'll ever forget, and I'm pretty stoked on the line too, so here it is. I just really like the way it was filmed because it was a very nice camera. The guy obviously knew what he was doing because he worked with the Barracks, and it's just, like the way you film this line just makes it look so much better than it actually was, and I like it. Anyway, yeah, that's just like one of those lines that I will remember for a really long time, and I like the way it looked, and they used it in my street part, and yeah. Up at number 3, we have nothing really special, it's just a 50-50, but this was sort of at the beginning, because there was like a phase in my life, I guess I still have that phase, is just where I skate big rails. Like it used to be big stairs where I'd like try to ollie the biggest thing possible, and then it was just like try to grind the biggest rail possible. And this rail was sort of the first of those big rails that I skated. It was a 16 stair rail, but it was like a super just like long like there's no way you could ollie the stairs, you had to skate the rail. The runway was super sloped downhill, and it was like a super bad Bondo job, and it made it super hard, and there used to be a cap on the end of the rail that someone cut off, although then I did it again way later, like years later, with the cap on, which made it a pretty cool picture. But anyway, this is like a local spot. It's just one of those rails that I'm gonna remember for a really long time. Yes, I know my hand touched, and I did it multiple times since then. I 50-50'd it, I got feeble 50-50 on the other side, I've got like a bunch of different tricks on it. But at that time, that was the first time I hit it, and that's just probably going to be one of the most memorable moments of my skateboarding life, was hitting that rail. At number 4, we have a very, very, very memorable moment, which I should probably actually put this at the last one, I'll explain in a second. I'll play the clip and then explain it. Yes, kickflipping Wallenberg. That was an extremely memorable moment in my skateboarding life for many reasons. While I'm talking, I'm just gonna put over some B-roll of like slow motion me falling, just because it's probably more entertaining to watch than my face. So first of all, this was when I originally broke my wrist. That was then broken for 2 years afterwards, and a lot of you know that I got wrist surgery and all that, and that was from this day at Wallenberg. This was also filming for Barracks, the same Battle for America thing, and that's also just another memorable part, was like, that's what made me try it. I was like, dude, I'm with the Barracks, I gotta do it. I did it without a roll in, so I had to sprint at top speed and then kickflip it, and it was very hard and tiring, and I'm super stoked I got it. And because it was used for the Barracks, it got leaked instantly and didn't really get to use it for my part, even though I still did, even though it was an already been done trick, so it's kind of pointless anyway, but I'm still stoked I got it. In 5th place, we have, which was at the time, the gnarliest rail I had ever done in my life, and like at that time, I was like, I can't believe I did this, and it was like probably one of the biggest mental battles I've ever had with a rail. It took 3 days of like 4 hours every day of just like like trying the rail, and each, like, you know how usually when you try a trick skateboarding, the next try is less scary. Like, you try a gap once, you're like, okay, like I got over the fear of trying it, now I can go do it. Yeah, this rail wasn't like that at all. You try it once, and it was probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Then you didn't land it, so you have to go walk all the way back up and try it again, and it's still the scariest thing you've ever done in your life, and you have to go do that for like 4 more hours, and it is very stressful. So stressful that after a full day of not landing it, like 4 hours of trying it, not landing it, I'd go home and I'd go to sleep that night, and I would have dreams about it, and then I'd wake up the next morning, have to go back and try it again, and then, oh god, I hated that thing. And then of course the one that I did land was filmed absolutely terribly, and you can't even tell that there was like a turn in it, which is why I used 2 angles. The first angle, believe it or not, I didn't land. That's why it shows the first angle of the turn, and then it fades to the second angle of me actually doing it, because the one I actually did was filmed terribly, so yeah, you'll see. It was pretty much one of those rails that I can't really believe I did, and I would never, ever do that again. I also fractured my rib on it like 3 tries before I landed it, and I was just so pumped up on adrenaline that I didn't even know, and then the next day I like couldn't even breathe. But I got it done. It's in the past now. I've done it once. Just that's all I needed. At number 6, we have this rail that I did. I think it was in like San Jose, California or something. I don't actually remember where it was. But I had spent the day with Joel, who runs Metro Skateboarding on Instagram. I'm sure you've heard of them. We had just sort of spent the day street skating, and just that in itself was sort of a memorable moment, being like, that was my first time actually hanging out with Joel, who now is like a good friend of mine. I love Joel. But we were just hanging out, and then it was sort of the same concept as like filming with the Barracks guys. Joel like pulled up this rail. I was like, yo, like, do you think you could do that? I've always wondered about it. And I was like, yeah, of course I can do that, right? And it was just one of those things where it's like, he was there, he had a camera. We had to put a no skateboarding sign on top of the crack. You can hear the sign. I'll play it again. You can hear my wheels go over the sign that we put over. We pretty much bondoed a crack with a sign. You can hear me run over it when I pop. So yeah, I had to go over a sign, which was really scary. The landing was terrible too. Like, as soon as I landed, I have to all like roll over this little grass patch. So yeah, that was a super memorable day. It was also one of those rails that was like almost wide enough for your entire trucks to go on and like have your wheels go on both sides, but it wasn't quite wide enough. So it's like sometimes one truck would lock on one way, the other would lock on the other way, and it was just weird. It was also one of those things that was like the end of our session that day, and like we were expecting to go home and eat food, and then all of a sudden Joel's like, yo, you want to try this rail? And I was like, sure. And it was like super unexpected, which made it fun. At number 7, we have, I think, which is to this day the gnarliest rail that I've ever 50-50'd. It was the gap to flat to kink to 19 stair that was the ender for my street part, and I'm just gonna play it really quick. So yeah, the story behind this rail was kind of a weird story. I went there expecting it was going to be like the other green kinked rail that took like 4 days. I expected I was going to take forever. It was going to be super scary. I ended up landing it in like 6 or 7 tries. Like 10 minutes we were there, and then I was already landing it. But that's not to mention that there wasn't a very scary fall before that. I'll play that right now. So yeah, I was a little bit shaken up after that fall. Pretty much like the bushes on the other side of the stairs pretty much saved my life. The way that worked, you had to ollie over a curb and then over like a 2 to 3 foot just gap of bushes, and then you had to land on the flat part of the rail, and there was a little like inch tall drop when it kinked down to a 19 stair, and then you had to roll into a street and then drop off a curb. We had to put plywood as a landing. It was just like all around like a pretty sketchy rail. The last and pretty much most memorable event of my entire skateboarding career was when I broke my pelvis on the 7 flat 7 flat 7 flat 7 flat 7, or maybe it's a 6 flat 6 flat 6 flat 6. I don't even remember what it was at this point. I sort of blocked it out of my mind, but the whole reason it is the most memorable event of my skateboarding career is because I never landed it, and I don't just walk away from tricks. Like, usually if I start something, I have to end it, and this was, I'm pretty sure, the only time in my entire life that I had to walk away from a trick empty-handed and not go back to it, and I don't know if physically or mentally I can ever go back to this rail. I'm gonna play the clip really quick and then talk about it.
Oh! You okay?
Yeah, I don't like watching that. It's just like, I was so close, and then I just didn't roll away, and then I fractured my pelvis, which made me, of course, not be able to skate for a while, and then once I was able to skate, I really didn't want to go put myself through that again, so I haven't yet. That's one of the most common questions I get asked. Like, are you gonna go back to that big rail? And like, part of me wants to be like, yeah, like, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna get it, and the other part of me, like, remembers having to go back like day after day after day after day and try it over and over and over again and not land it, and then falling and hurting myself, and it's just like, I don't want to go through that again, ever. I never want to go through that again. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. I don't know if I'll ever even try it again. I have no idea. No idea, I can't tell you. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just gonna like play some attempt clips of me trying it with some music in the background just for you to enjoy. So yeah, that was that. I wish I landed it really bad. I genuinely wish I landed it, and I didn't, and that's why it is the most memorable skateboarding event that's ever happened to me, ever. Anyway guys, that's about it. That's my top 8 most memorable skateboarding experiences, or I haven't figured out what I'm gonna title it yet, but you know what it is because I just talked about it for a while. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Hopefully I'll be able to skate very soon so I can actually put more skateboarding on my channel, because that's what I do. I am a skateboarder, but because of my severe back pain, I wasn't able to today. I am back in Santa Cruz and it feels great to be home, and I do daily YouTube videos, so please click the subscribe button down below. All of my contact information will be in the outro coming up in just a second. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a new daily video. Peace.